Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Today I'm going to show you how I've been using scraps of silk and cotton to make little balls and cushion shapes and bells and things that can all be strung together to create a hanging decoration, whether for the festive season or all year round. I'd probably hang these up all year round. I've been using scraps that came from Bazaar. Any regular viewers will know how much I love Bazaar, and just recently Joe from Bazaar sent me 2 of their bundles to have a play with. So I'm going to be using those, but you could use whatever scraps you've got. I'm going to be doing the balls today, so and they work better with silks or lightweight cottons. But if you've got Bazaar packs and you've got some of the heavier brocadey kind of patterns in there, fabrics in there, then they're perfect for the cushiony shapes that I've been doing as well. So let me show you what I've been doing. These are the fabric balls that I've been making. So you could just hang them up on their own. You can see they're gathered up at one end. You know, they're not perfect all the way around. There's always going to be a point where you gathered everything together. So that's where I would put a hanging loop or whatever. But my idea is that I'm going to string them together. Either you could hang up several balls in a row, or you could intersperse it with these other shapes and things that I've been creating. And I've also got other bits and bobs that I'm going to add into these kind of decorative danglers. So these are the bell shapes. The balls work better with, as I said, the silks or lightweight cottons. The bells, you can do them in all sorts of different fabrics, but the result depends on what kind of fabric you're using. So this was using one of the more heavyweight fabrics. All of these fabrics came out of Bazaar packs. This is one of the more sort of heavyweight fabrics, obviously, and it's lined with a brocadey type of fabric as well. So this little bell has come out quite stiff. But I did do some with just the silks and lightweight cottons, and you still get that lovely shape. But it's obviously softer. There's another one. There's a little tiny one done. So it's 2 layers. That's cotton on the inside and silk on the outside. That one's a bit of a heavier weight cotton, so it's got more body to it, but it's not as stiff as this one. So it just depends on what you've got, what you want to use. I quite like these ones that are just 2 layers of a heavier kind of fabric. So that's the bells, and then I wanted to be able to use some of these kind of more fancy fabrics like this one. I've actually doubled this one up. I've put a lightweight cotton on the inside in the blue to show through this fabric. This one's one of the fancy brocade fabrics, as is this one. I'll show you what I've taken them from in a minute. And I've just made these simple little square shaped cushions, which you could embroider on the back if you wanted to. So I've done a bit of embroidery on that one, and I'm going to hang these up kind of diamond wise, so you know, I'm not sure how they'll all go together yet. I just wanted to make myself a whole pile of them to play with, and then I'll arrange them into half a dozen danglers. I had some of this needle cord in my last lot of Bazaar packs as well, so I thought they would be nice to make little heart shapes. I did do one ball with it just to see if it would work, and it worked pretty well actually. It's quite a lightweight needle cord, that one. I also did some cushion shapes. So that's a plain cushion shape that I haven't finished working on yet. But on some of them, the lighter weight ones, here we go, I put a stitch through the middle to make that kind of cushion effect, and then did embroidery on one side of it. And you can really shape them into this almost star shape. So it could be hung up that way up. So I think that would be really cute. Let me give you a quick look at the fabrics that I've been using. As I say, you can use whatever you've got, but just to give you an idea, this was the double bundle of scraps that I got from Bazaar last time. I'll put a link to let me just come up and say this. I'll put a link to Bazaar down below. They're brilliant. If you've watched the channel before, you'll have heard me rave about them, I'm sure. But they're essentially, these are all recycled, rescued fabrics from the textile industry in India. Joe at Bazaar works very closely with people over there. It's all fair trade. It's all as ethical and eco-friendly as can be, and I love Bazaar. And also, if you buy from Bazaar, when you get to checkout, there's a bit where you can put a note to seller at the end, and not the promo code, but the note to seller. If you put ARTY FARTY ANNIE TREAT in that bit, they'll send you a little extra doodad with your order, which is always fun. Anyway, I'm going back now. So this is what I've used, but as I say, you can use whatever you've got. I just thought this was a lovely way to use some of these fabrics and really kind of make the best of them. So where you get oddities in amongst the scrap packs like this. Now I could turn this into lots of those little square cushions that I've been showing. This is the one I showed where I put the blue. So I put some of this blue behind it. What else have I used? I haven't used any of this in the end actually, but I still could. I've used some of this one. I loved the goldeny one. I've used quite a bit of this to make the balls with. Oops. Oh look, I had one in there that I lost. That was nice with the gold thread in there. So yeah, these are the kind of things I've used. A lot of these in those cushiony ones. And even quite small scraps, even if you just got a little square like that, you can make it into one of the little cushions or one of the little star shapes. Little pieces like this. Definitely a good way to use the smaller pieces. Star of the show in these Bazaar scrap bundles now, they now guarantee that every single one will have one of these patchwork pieces in. So this is, bearing in mind that this is 2 bundles, I've got 2 of these patchwork pieces. Now, as well, in one of the bundles that I got, there was like a strip that must have been at some point cut off the end. It was a really narrow strip like that off of one of these patchworked pieces. And that's where all of these came from. So if you've just got tiny bits like that and you're thinking, what am I going to do with it? I'll just say, honestly, I should have saved a bit of the strip to show you. I think I got carried away and used it all. But say it was like this. Say I had that strip cut off. There's all sorts of other things you could do with it as well. But yeah, perfect for making these little cushions with. And just back it with a piece of the plain a gold kind of brocade type of fabric, or a piece of plain cotton, which you can then embroider on as well if you want to. So that's, I'm going to do, I did say I would find I would use these patchworked pieces in 2 very different ways. I think I'm going to keep this one and turn it into a journal cover, because it's just the perfect size and shape, and I think that would be lovely for a journal cover. This one I thought I would cut some pieces of and do some more of these danglers with. I think some of these other greens will fit in quite nicely with the colour scheme that I've got going on there. I could just cut a bit of this out, a bit of this out. I mean, some of these, that one would be big enough to make a needle book out of, so I might just keep that to do that with. But where I've got smaller pieces, I'm going to do some more of these cushiony shapes. So let's put them to one side a minute. The other thing I want to use when I string all my danglers together is some of these pieces that I've been hoarding. These have all come out of Bazaar scrap packs. You always get a few of these kind of doodads in. A giant shisha. Yeah, so I'm going to be incorporating some of these as well. Lots of the little kind of little birds. I can't find any. There's a whole stack of those little birds. Oh look, I missed a couple of these. See, look, that was quite a small piece off of one of those patchwork ones, but see how cute it looks like that. I've just done some straight stitching on the back. These are the little birds I mean. So I'll incorporate some of these in as well, and I think the whole lot will all mix really nicely together. I just want to make a few more pieces first. I've got more in here, little small beads and stuff. Most of these have come out of, not all, that's from somewhere else. Those are felted beads I did myself, but most of this stuff has come out of scrap packs. So that came in one of these bundles actually, and I think they will all fit in nicely. I can use the beads all in one or take them apart. I've also got these bells and things hoarded. I've got some shisha mirrors. Many of those came from Bazaar bundles as well, and odd broken bits of beads and things. So once I've made all my balls and bells and danglers, I will then sit and assemble them all into little hanging pieces. And I'm going to want tassels on the end, so this came in one of these 2 bundles as well, this thread, so I think that'd be quite good for binding my tassels. And then there are these pieces. I've got them in a bit of a tangle, but these again all came out of Bazaar bundles. I think these are all out Bazaar bundles. I might have, some of these might have come from other places and I've ended up putting them in together, but I know most of them did. But they're just, again, reclaimed fibres spun together to make this interesting yarn. So some of these might get used for my tassels. This one came in one of these 2 bundles, as did this pink. I'd got them all in a tangle somewhere. I don't know how that's happened, so I need to sort through them. So yeah, I'm not going to do tassels today, but I need to do them before I start assembling. And I just thought I'd show you kind of what I've got in my mind to do. And then I've got some of this sari ribbon, which again came from Bazaar, but not in a scrap bundle. I bought that separately. That's my plans. This is all stuff I'm going to be using. I've got some pieces cut ready. The only other thing I'll need is needle and thread for the balls and the sort of cushion ones. I've been using stuffing. I also have been using bits out of my Orts jar, but I'm running low on them now, so I've gone into the stuffing. Good way to use up all of that as well. So you can see here I've got, this is, it doesn't matter what size you cut I mean, unless you want a specific size ball. I've just been taking the piece of fabric that I've got and cutting the biggest size square I can get out of it. So I would kind of start with a square, fold it in half and quarters, and then just cut quarter of a circle and open it out to get my circle. And it's, you know, whatever size it ends up, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, if you've got little pieces, you can go quite small. This will make a square, a ball about not even that big, more like that. Yeah, but yeah, I would say just, you know, use what you've got. And I want to have some of the bigger size balls like that one. That's just the biggest I want them to be. But I want some little dinky ones as well. But I have got the beads and bells too. So yeah, so I'm not going to cover everything today. I'm just going to show how to make the balls, and then I'll do another video showing how to do the what I'm calling bells, and another one to do the cushion shapes, and then I'll show how I did the decorative stitching on that as well. It's very, very, very simple. And then I'll do some tassels, and then I'll string them all together. So it's going to be over the course of several videos, this one. That was cut from a piece of that patchworked stuff, so that's what I'm intending to put on the back of that. These will all be meant to turn into balls. That one's going to be for a bell. That one will be meant for a bell. Got some of this fabric last time. It's like a cotton, like a twill woven cotton, that I will put together to make one of the bells. That'll come out like that one. So those are both bells. This is some of the little piece of the needle cord that's left. So I might do another heart with that. It's cute for the little hearts, I think, the needle cord. So I'll do a couple of hearts with those. But yeah, I'm not fussed about getting the sizes exact or anything. Let's go this one. I think this one will show up nicely. Yeah. Okay, so it's really, really simple. Get myself a bit of thread. Just got back from an unplanned stay away from home, so this is some of my stitching that I took with me. I'm just using 2 strands of embroidery cotton. At this point it could just be normal sewing thread, really, but this is what I've got handy. So, okay, so I fastened that at the beginning, and now I'm just going to do smallish running stitches all around the edge, quite close to the edge. I'm not being too fussy though, and I like using a long straight needle like this because I can pick up loads of stitches at the same time, get a quarter of a way around this circle before I even need to bring the needle out. I think for the balls, the silk and the finer cotton work better because they more easily go into that nice round shape. I found that with this one, this is a cotton one, I couldn't get it to go nice and neatly into a round. Usually it smooths out, those lumpy bits smooth out as you add the stitching afterwards, but I couldn't get it to smooth out properly. So I thought, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to use this to try something I've wanted to try, which is to stitch sequins all over. So I've got these sequins handy, different colours and things, and I'm going to cover this one with sequins, and then I might do a few more like that as well. Okay, so I'm going to carry on stitching all around the edge of this circle. I'm going to speed you up to the end now, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've stitched all around now. I've got I'm going to make sure that I think this is the right side is on the outside, and I'm just going to take a little bit of my stuffing. Actually, let's see what I've got in my orts jar now. Encouraging the stuffing to spread evenly all around, gathering it up a little bit, adding a bit more stuffing. My needle's still there, threaded, ready to go. Surprising how much stuffing it will take. I've got some little offcuts of wadding that I was using to make that quilted bag I did the other day. So bits like this I've been using for these. Perfect for that. Waste not, want not. Right, so as I say, it's surprising how much it takes. Just pushing that out into all the folds. I'm trying to make sure that the gathering is nice and even all around, so I get a nice smooth ball, or smooth as I can. Not too worried, you know. And then I'm going to start coaxing it into shape, pulling up the thread. I'm fairly happy that I've got enough stuffing in there now. That little bit so doesn't want to go in. I'll cut that off. It's got a little bit of a twinkle on it, that one. Okay, I think that will do. I could probably stuff more in. Smooth it out a little bit. You just have to have a little bit of patience at this stage, just to get it shaped nicely. But don't worry, it won't be perfect yet. The stitching helps to round it out. And also, in a minute, I'm going to roll it between my hands as well, which also helps. Whoops. Right, holding all that together with one hand while I put a little anchoring stitch in here. It's going to want to come undone, but just got to show it who's boss. Try and hold that all together with your left hand, or your left hand, or right, depending on whether you're right or left-handed. Your non-dominant hand, while you stitch with the other. And now I'm going to start going across. I might just do one more in there. Oh, I've unthreaded my needle, no. And then the idea is, because I'm holding it out at arm's length under the camera, and then I'm going to put the thread back through this loop as well to create a little knot, which will help to keep it together. Quickly re-thread the needle before it all comes undone. Now I'm going to work my way around the whole top kind of thing. So I'm going to go in here and across to there. Now it's a bit of a weak point in the fabric there, so I won't pull that too hard. And now I'm going to go across to here and come up opposite. So I'm putting it fairly firmly, but not ridiculously tight, just being a bit gentle with it, because I can always go around again. So it's a little bit threadbare there, so let's be a little bit gentle. Let's put it there. You can see that's starting now to round off the ball. There we go. I think that will, oops, that's come undone now anyway. I'm going to fasten that off and then I'm ready for the next bit. And you don't always need to put that much stitching in at that stage. It just depends on the piece of fabric you're working with. Some of them are more fragile than others, but you can see that's all nice and secure now. So the next thing I do, and it's already in a much nicer spherical shape, but then I just spent a few seconds just rolling it between my palms to help to encourage that ball shape a bit more. It's surprising how much of a difference this made, I found. And you can see there's a little bit of the stuffing showing there. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to put straight stitching all around the outside of this anyway. Then I've got to decide, shall I do a bit of that colour? Would some green be nice? Or gold would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Oh, quite like that green. I'm going to use that green. Okay. So I'm going to stick with 2 strands of embroidery thread. I put a knot in the end again. I'm going to go in this top bit here and come out quite sort of close to the top of the sphere. This first stitch, I'll go back through the loop to knot it off and do another stitch as well. Just be on the safe side, and then I'll feel safe to cut that off so it's not too obvious. Oops. And now I'm going to do small straight stitches all around. In some cases, like where this bit is, I've still got this threadbare bit here where there's a little bit of a thin bit in the fabric. I'm just going to go over that. I'm going to double back over it. I don't think that will show in the grand scheme of things, but I think it will help to secure everything. So just play it by ear depending on what fabric you're using. It occurs to me that you could also do this quite successfully, I think, with t-shirt type material or even old jumpers and things. It would definitely be quite interesting to experiment with. So I'll come to the end of that first little ring of stitches there. I'm going to go take my needle down and come out just below to do another, and I'll just cover it with concentric rings. You could just spiral round and round as well, whichever way you want to do it. I suppose you could run your stitching around this way, but I find it's better to do it in this direction because it helps to even out the shape and pull in all these, even out all these gathered kind of bits, these folds. And pull it fairly tightly as you go because that is helping to bring that shape in and firm everything up. Because some of these, they're pretty firm, they come out pretty firm. Especially the ones that I stuffed with completely with orts, they come out firmer still. The ones where I've just used just the polyfill are squishier and lighter. But it's a really nice way to use the orts up actually. So yeah, I'm just going to chill out and cover this ball with straight stitching. I guess there's no reason why you couldn't use a different type of stitch. I think it needs to be some kind of a continuous stitch like this. I don't think you could use like detached kind of like seed stitches or something, because I think it needs to be continuous in order to pull everything in. But it could be a chain stitch or a Y stitch or something, I guess. Don't know. Again, worth experimenting with. And I just think this is such a cute way to use these little tiny tidbits of fabrics and to showcase some of the lovely pieces in those patchwork sections that we're going to be getting in the Bazaar packs now. I mean, I've had lots of those in Bazaar packs before anyway, but now Joe is guaranteeing that there will be one piece at least in every pack, every bundle. And I think these would be nice to hang up for Christmas. But I would hang this sort of thing up in a window or whatever all year round. And actually, if you made smaller ones, you could just hang them off a bag or craft bag or handbag or purse, as you would call it in the States. Very simple. And I can just completely chill out doing this, which is for me at least half the point of slow stitching. I think they would look quite cute used almost as like instead of a gift tag on a present as well. Right, let's fasten off that one. I need to start a new thread, so I'm going to just finish this one up and then come back to you. I think you can see where I'm going with that. This one's ended up quite messy on the top, but you can see that once you've got it strung together with another one, or with one of the bells, or that's, try and picking and choosing which ones go together now. That's quite cute, like that. You won't see that anyway. Another thing I thought would be quite fun would be to incorporate, perhaps on the cushion ones, would be to incorporate some of the shisha mirrors, but I haven't tried that yet. But I think that'd be quite cute. I think it'd be quite easy to make the cushion first and then do the shisha work into it. So I might have a go at some of those. Okay, I'm going to finish this one and then I'm going to come back and show you how I get on stitching some sequins onto this one. Let's see what one looks like with sequins. Then I'll finish the rest of these circles. I'll turn the rest of these circles into balls, and then I'll come back in a different video and show how I made the bells. What I'm calling bells. I finished stitching around this now. See if I can get it to focus. So I'm happy with that one. And now I'm going to start stitching some sequins onto this one. I might as well use the end of that thread I've got left there. So again, going to start with a knot in the end. I thought I might try put in one of these big flower shaped sequins that I've got on the top. So see what that looks like. So make that little stitch, put my needle back through the loop to make a knot, and now I'm going to add this one on the top. See what that looks like. I could put in a bead in the middle of that as well if I wanted to put a sequin in the middle there, and then I want quite a small bead. I might need to change to a different needle to get that through. Okay, right, I've changed to a needle that I know will go through this little bead. I'm just threading that on top of the sequin, and now I can go outside of the bead but down through the sequin, and I can come out somewhere else. And either fasten that stitch off or sew on another sequin, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm not thinking about the colours too much with this one. I'm just going to try whatever colours come out of this little packet at the moment. I'll just see how it feels, because I've not tried this before. Yeah, I think that's going to be nice. Give it a bit of a twinkle. One more before I run out of thread. Take a stitch and back up through the hole and back down. But this time I will fasten off. Let's just go back through that loop. think that's going to be quite cute. As I say, I've not tried this yet before, so I wasn't quite sure how that was going to look, but I think if I absolutely cover it with sequins, I think that would be quite a nice one to add in, and it will catch the light really nicely when it's hanging up. But I need to really cover it because this one has come out very creased. I think I didn't add quite enough stuffing here. I should have packed that out a bit more to stop it being so creased here, but hey ho, it's done now. Could perhaps just use one strand, I think, this time for doing this bit. And I might also not make it all sequins, I might put some little beads on there as well. So I'm going to carry on covering that with sequins and beads and whatever, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. I don't want this video to get too long. Here we go. That one's all done. I really like the look of that. I think it looks a bit better in real life than it does on camera, but hopefully you can see. And I think you could hang that either way up actually. You can get an idea of the kind of thing I'm thinking. And actually it occurs to me that you could just string these together. You could make a whole string of these balls, make a little garland of them. That could be really cute as well. So that's it for this video. I'll get my little, get a few of these for a thumbnail. So that's how I make my scrappy fabric balls. Next time I'll be back to do the bells. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon.